My name is Lydia Kelly. I currently work at ENGEO, and my title is staff engineer, as opposed to staff geologist or staff engineering geologist. I definitely work with the engineering side of things more in the geotechnical realm, and then staff basically means I'm just starting out. I'm entry level, so. A lot of the role of a staff engineer is to meet the field need that we have. And so I do a lot of construction observation or subsurface investigation. To explain those things more, construction observation is basically, did the foundation we design, is that being built in the field? What are the challenges that are encountered when it's being built? Is it meeting the specs that we said, this pile should be at least this deep? Did we reach that depth? Did we see anything that we didn't expect when we were designing? So just confirming that design and testing it as it's being built. And so geotechnical exploration is kind of the first step before designing. We're the first boots on the ground to say, well, we have this geologic map that says there's this type of soil here. Is it actually here? Where's the rock? How deep is the soil? Is it pretty loose or is it stronger? Just kind of getting an idea of how tricky it's going to be to build there and what kind of things we can put on the ground there. I have had a couple of experiences. Fortunately, very little at my level. One experience being, it's definitely harder to find your voice as a woman in combination with being a young engineer. You just don't have the experience that higher level staff do. So the imposter syndrome can get real, but I guess I go about it by continuing to ask questions, even when my instinct would be, no, like this seems silly, or I might be taking up someone's time, like just really saying this is a valid question, and remind myself of the work that it took to get to the place where I am. Like I don't have a master's for no reason. It's because I really love what I do and I put in the work to get into that program and also finish that program. So reminding myself of that kind of external validation really helps. And having professional role models. I've definitely, every internship I've had actually, or research experience, I've had a female mentor. So just seeing how they lead and that they are put into those leadership roles is really great to see, and they do understand some of the nuances of being a woman in my field. Great. I would say my undergraduate advisor, Dr. Victoria Bennett, I went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute for my undergrad, and so she teaches there and she advises certain students. And I think she really helped shape like what I wanted in my education. Because her degree is in geotechnical engineering, she kind of opened my eyes to this major in this field. I hadn't known about it before going to RPI, and like she actually worked with a really cool piece of technology called the geotechnical centrifuge, which in essence is just a machine that spins dirt around really, really fast. But in doing so, we can kind of put these pressures on a sample of soil via like centrifugal force, and then that sample will act like it would in the field, because it's important to have kind of confinement or pressure on the soil in order for it to behave the same way. Like if you're kind of walking on a beach, if you're walking on the surface, it's very loose sand and it kind of shifts around as you walk on it. But if you think about and you're digging down in the beach, then you get to that sand that's like more confined and it's harder to dig down and press it out of the way. So she worked with that, and then she just exposed me to like that piece of equipment, and also different classes that I might not have thought about taking before. And just her role model of having that higher degree. And I think when she got her degree, there were only a handful of female engineers who had a PhD in geotechnical engineering. So that example, and just like her kind and involved nature, and when she filled the role of my advisor, was definitely helpful and inspiring to get me to go that extra mile and dig deeper into my major and then pursue it as a career. Yeah, if they have the chance to get an internship or a co-op and try it out, definitely do so. I know it's so hard these days to get that internship opportunity. Like I applied to 30 and I heard back from a handful of them. But the work world is so different from what you learn in school. I love classes, I love learning, and it's an environment where you have freedom to fail and you have freedom to take the time to really look into, what's this homework problem, like what things do I need to know, like where is that in the textbook. You have the time to kind of work through it and hit every roadblock, but it might not be the same way in the work world, and it's just like a different set of problems, a different set of resources. And so if they can get a trial run of that with an internship, that's great. I also did internships in fields that I'm not doing now. Like I worked for Electric Boat, and they designed the submarines for the Navy. And so that was really interesting, but it was a good like lesson of this is what I don't want in a company, or this is what I don't want to do. So that's really helpful too. And something that my head of the department in undergrad called civil engineering, and now geotechnical is kind of a piece of civil engineering. So the head of my department would call civil engineering CE, and he would call it curiosity and empathy. So I think it's really important to keep those two values as you start your career. And what that means is that don't expect to stop learning once you graduate. I kind of did. I thought, I have the degree, I've taken my classes, and now I'm ready to like give back to the community and give back in my job. But I'm still in a phase of learning a lot about how my classes are applied in industry. So curiosity and empathy sound like buzzwords, but they're really important. Is that like you may not be, going to lectures or doing homework problems, but you're always learning. And if you like that sort of thing, then you're set to go when you enter your professional environment.